Strength is the ability to endure, adapt, and grow in body, mind, and spirit. Self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. Good health throughout life supports our physical, mental, and emotional wellness. Physically, a robust, well-nourished body fights illness, recovers swiftly, and encourages longevity. Mentally, emotionally, healthy habits diminish stress, enhance confidence, improve cognitive function, and shield against mood disorders. Longevity and quality of life. By focusing on health now, you boost your chances of enjoying independent mobility, active aging, and fulfilling life experiences in the future. Many beginners, however, encounter decision paralysis. Which strength training program should I choose? Popular options include 5x5, PPL, push-pull legs, and UL, upper-lower split. Each program has its advantages and disadvantages, making the best choice depend on your lifestyle, recovery capacity, goals, and consistency. This article will 1. Compare these training styles for newcomers, and 2. Provide all necessary self-care insights. Why it matters, the risks of neglect, warning signs, correction methods, and prevention strategies. Let's dive in. For absolute beginners, 5x5 is an ideal choice due to its simplicity and focus on mastering core movements with linear progression. If you have a fitness foundation or can commit to 4+ gym days a week, the UL split offers flexibility and better volume control. While PPL is highly effective once consistency is built, it can be overwhelming at first if your recovery, sleep, nutrition, stress, isn't solid. These options are not exclusive, starting with 5x5 for 3 to 6 months and then moving to UL or PPL as you adapt is perfectly reasonable. The best program is the one you can maintain, recover from, and progressively enhance. Throughout this article, I will highlight how self-care practices, sleep, nutrition, stress management, relate to training choices. Even with a solid training plan, many hinder their progress and health through lifestyle oversights. Common causes, risk factors include poor diet, micronutrient deficiencies, an excessive intake of processed foods, sugar, or inadequate protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals can hurt energy levels, immunity, recovery, and hormone balance. Sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise. Long periods of sitting, minimal physical activity, and weakened muscles lead to metabolic slowdown, poor circulation, and muscle loss. And chronic stress and poor mental health. Ongoing psychological stress increases cortisol levels, reduces recovery, weakens immune response, and disrupts sleep. Smoking, excessive alcohol, or substance abuse. These activities damage tissues, hinder healing, and impair cardiovascular, respiratory, and neurological health. Sleep deprivation and poor sleep quality. Repair, hormone regulation, memory consolidation, and toxin removal occur during sleep. Insufficient sleep disrupts all bodily systems. Neglecting routine medical, dental, preventive care. Skipping checkups allows early signs of dysfunction to go unnoticed, potentially leading to bigger issues. These risk factors harm not only your physical fitness, but also overall health. Over time, they heighten disease susceptibility and accelerate degenerative changes. Chronic neglect of self-care can lead to various health issues. Type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, and prediabetes from poor diet, obesity, and inactivity. Cardiovascular disease and hypertension due to plaque buildup, vascular stiffness, and elevated blood pressure. Obesity and metabolic syndrome, a combination of high blood pressure, insulin irregularities, and lipid abnormalities. Dyslipidemia and atherosclerosis caused by unhealthy cholesterol levels and blood vessel narrowing. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease due to metabolic dysfunction. Chronic kidney disease stemming from hypertension, diabetes, toxic load, and dehydration. Osteopenia, osteoporosis, and joint degeneration from underuse, inadequate nutrition, and inflammation. Mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, burnout, and cognitive decline. Sleep disorders such as insomnia and sleep apnea. Immune suppression leading to frequent infections due to chronic stress and nutrient deficiencies. Chronic pain and musculoskeletal imbalances related to weak core stability, poor posture, and inflammation. These are not mere possibilities. They are prevalent outcomes in populations that disregard preventive measures. Before severe diseases develop, the body often signals distress. Watch for continuous fatigue, low energy, and feeling worn out, frequent illnesses, slow wound healing, and increased susceptibility to infections. Unexplained weight fluctuations, particularly around the abdomen. Mood shifts, irritability, anxiety, depression, and lack of focus. Sleep disturbances like difficulty falling asleep or frequent awakenings. Elevated resting heart rate or blood pressure. Digestive discomfort, bloating, irregular bowel movements, and diminished appetite. Joint stiffness, lingering aches, and recurring muscle soreness. Insulin fluctuations, cravings, energy swings, and constant hunger. Memory issues, cognitive fog, and lack of motivation. If you experience several of these symptoms consistently, it's a warning sign that your body is under stress and struggling. If you or someone you know starts experiencing these signs, don't hesitate. Take action early. Here are some strategies. Lifestyle changes. Improve your diet by focusing on whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Increase physical activity through non-structured movement like walking or mobility exercises. Prioritize sleep with consistent bedtime, dark rooms, and limited screen time before bed. Manage stress with mindfulness, journaling, breathing exercises, or yoga. Stay hydrated with sufficient water intake and minimize sugary drinks. Limit alcohol, tobacco, and toxins present in your environment. Start a careful strength resistance training routine. Even mild loading can boost metabolism, bone health, and mood, provided you don't push too hard. After a medical evaluation, monitor blood pressure, glucose, lipid levels, thyroid function, and vital vitamin levels through lab tests to get objective feedback on your health. The mental health support. Engage in counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, or support groups if you're experiencing any mood disorders, recognizing the importance of mental well-being. Physical therapy/corrective mobilities. Work with a physical therapist or mobility coach to improve joint function, posture, and muscle balance, relieving pain and restoring functionality. And supplements, if necessary, under medical advice. If lab tests indicate deficiencies, targeted supplementation can help recovery, but this should be secondary to lifestyle changes. And gradual introduction. Avoid drastic changes all at once. Choose one or two areas, like sleep or diet, to focus on for consistency, leading to gradual improvement. Prevention self-care plan. Daily, weekly, monthly. Here's a practical self-care and training plan you can customize alongside a strength training program like 5x5, UL, or PPL. Daily and nightly habits. Sleep hygiene. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, maintain a cool and dark room, and have a consistent wake-up time. Hydration. Drink water throughout the day. A general guideline is about 0.5 to 1 Oz per pound of body weight, adjusting for activity. Nutrition basics. Ensure at least 20-30 grams of protein at each meal, along with colorful veggies, whole grains, and healthy fats, like avocado, nuts, or olive oil. As movement breaks. Every hour, take a break to stand, walk, or do mobility exercises for 2 to 5 minutes. A stress reset. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each day for deep breathing exercises or meditation. Utilize methods like box breathing. Limit screen time before going to bed, opting for reading or other wind-down activities. Weekly habits. Strength training. Adhere to your program, 5x5 UL or PPL, at a progressive but manageable pace. Active recovery. Engage in light cardio, mobility work, foam rolling, or leisurely walks. Rest days. Incorporate complete rest or gentle movements, like yoga or casual strolls. Meal planning and prep. Batch cook healthy meals to avoid decision fatigue and the temptation of poor choices. Social mental breaks. Spend time with loved ones, pursue hobbies, or enjoy a digital detox. Track body metrics. Monitor weight, waist circumference, strength gains, and energy levels. Health screenings. Conduct basic lab work, along with monitoring blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose levels. And reflection. Assess your stress levels, mental state, and sleep quality, adjusting as necessary. Adjust training load. Consider deload weeks every 8 to 12 weeks if needed. Revise goals. Are you progressing? Do you need to switch to another program? Integrating with a strength program. Nutrition plus recovery. If you adopt a higher volume split, like PPL, ensure your dietary and recovery practices align with it. Auto-regulate intensity. Use RPE, rate of perceived exertion, aiming to leave 1 to 2 reps in reserve, and take deloads when necessary. Accessory work. Don't overlook mobility, posterior chain exercises, and core training, even in minimal programs. Progressive overload. For 5x5, gradually increase weights. For splits, add sets, reps, or increase intensity over time. And deload and reset. Schedule light weeks to minimize the risk of burnout and overuse injuries. Historical and scientific context of self-care and preventive medicine. Historical roots. Traditional medicine systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine have emphasized the importance of self-cultivation, balance, diet, movement, and harmonizing body and mind. Modern preventive medicine. As chronic diseases rose in the 20th century, preventive medicine emerged, focusing on preventing illness rather than just treating it. Exercise and longevity research. Studies over the years demonstrate that regular resistance training lowers all-cause mortality, mitigates metabolic syndrome risks, and helps maintain muscle mass, which naturally declines by about 3 to 8% per decade after age 30. A psychoneuroimmunology. Stress management, sleep, and mental well-being interact closely with both immune and endocrine systems. This signifies that mental self-care is essential rather than a luxury. Recent meta-analyses. Strength training is associated with decreased cardiovascular disease risks, improved insulin sensitivity, enhanced mental health, and better bone health. The use it or lose it principle holds substantial empirical support. Your journey into weight training is part of an established, research-supported practice of using movement, recovery, and adaptation to maximize human potential. If you continuously ignore warning signs and delay care, the stakes become higher, progressing from insulin resistance to full type 2 diabetes, along with its complications like neuropathy and kidney disease. Chronic hypertension leading to heart attacks, strokes, or kidney issues. Development of cardiovascular diseases like atherosclerosis and plaque formation. Musculoskeletal degeneration, including disc herniations and chronic joint pain. Loss of independence due to sarcopenia and frailty in later years. Deteriorating mental health, manifesting as depression or cognitive decline. Increased risks for certain cancers linked to obesity and sustained inflammation. Severe drops in quality of life, fatigue, pain, and an inability to carry out daily activities. Overburdening healthcare systems and resulting in earlier mortality. In summary, what starts as small neglect aggregates into serious, life-altering conditions. Then, which strength program should you start with? Decision Guide. Here's a practical decision tree to help guide your choice. Availability and time. If you can only manage 3 gym sessions per week, 5x5 full body is ideal. If you can train 4 days a week, upper-lower UL provides flexibility. If you have 5 to 6 dependable sessions/week, strong motivation, and good recovery, PPL could be an excellent option. Recovery capacity and stress level. If under significant stress, poor sleep, or a busy lifestyle, opt for a lower frequency program, 5x5 or UL, to avoid overreach. If your routine supports good sleep, nutrition, and recovery, you might be ready for more challenges. Goal orientation. For strength and foundational gains, 5x5 is perfect for beginners. For a balance of hypertrophy and strength, UL allows room for accessory work. For a high-volume, focused muscle-building approach, PPL allows for more volume per muscle group. Preference and enjoyment. Remember, consistency is crucial. Select a program you enjoy, or at least tolerate, in the long run. If full-body sessions don't excite you, UL or PPL could be more appealing psychologically. Transition plan. Start with 5x5 for 3 to 9 months. If progress stalls or you seek variety, transition to UL or PPL. Ensure volume increases gradually. Avoid jumping in too aggressively. Sample beginner pathways, illustrative. Path A. 5x5 starter, weeks 1 to 24. Train 3x week, e.g. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Focus on core lifts, squat, bench press, deadlift or Romanian deadlift, overhead press, and barbell row. Include accessory, light, work such as core exercises, mobility, and posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings. Schedule a deload every 8 to 12 weeks. After about 6 months, assess whether to transition to UL or PPL. Path. Upper-lower split. Weeks 1. Train 4x week. Monday. Upper, Tuesday. Lower, Thursday. Upper, Friday. Lower. Concentrate on 2-3 compound lifts along with 2 accessory exercises per session. Adjust volume based on how fatigued you feel. Include a deload week every 8 to 12 weeks. Path. C. PPL. After adaptation. Train 5 to 6 days week or 3 to 4 days, modified. Day 1. Push, chest, shoulders, triceps. Day 2. Pull, back, biceps. Day 3. Legs, quads, hamstrings, calves. Rest or repeat as needed. Monitor RPE. Manage fatigue and deload regularly. Motivational and engagement tips. Track progress and celebrate improvements in strength, body measurements, mood. Even small victories count. Find accountability partners, whether friends, an online community, or a coach. Pay attention to how training affects your mood, energy levels, and confidence. Introduce variety. Switch up grips, rep ranges, and angles to keep workouts engaging. Focus on the mind-muscle connection rather than ego lifting. Prioritize quality over quantity. Remember that strength training is not merely about aesthetics. It serves as an investment in your long-term resilience. Choosing a strength training program as a beginner isn't just about finding the best routine. It's about dedicating yourself to your health, resilience, and future self. Whether starting with 5x5, UL, or PPL later on, consistent self-care remains crucial. Prioritizing sleep, nutrition, stress management, routine assessments, and body awareness will anchor your success. By emphasizing self-care now, you can delay or prevent many chronic diseases, enhance mental wellness, maintain physical abilities, and enjoy heightened energy and confidence throughout your life. Disclaimer. This article is intended for educational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before beginning any training or health program, especially if you have pre-existing conditions. Start your journey today. Each consistent step towards strength and self-care accumulates into a lifetime of improved health.